So the general consensus of a lot of people online are if you don't like people that break the law and you don't like people coming into the country illegally, that you're a racist or that you're far right. Now, I remember when I was a kid and you knew some real racist people, and I don't generally class myself or a lot of people in this country in the same bracket. Now, a lot of people said, well, you've got no evidence of them committing a crime just because they're in a hotel with one bad apple, yada, yada, yada. The fact that they've broke into the country, that they haven't gone through the proper channels, shows that they have a disregard for the law, shows that they have already broke the law, never mind what they may get up to once they are here. Somebody else was like, yeah, but 83% of sexual offenders are white British males. And I agree with that, but that is generally down to the breakup of the population into its ethnic groups. But let's not actually forget the fact that people seem to deflect what is already a bad crime to be committing by blaming someone else. Well, white people do it as well. Yeah, we're not saying that it's okay for white people to do it, but not for immigrants to do it. Nobody should be doing it. All of it is condemned. All of it shouldn't be happening. And do you know what? If we could deport the people that do it that are from England, that are white, we bloody well should. They shouldn't be in the country either. It's not a case of one rule for us and another rule for them. It's a blanket disgust at men doing that in this country. I think a big part of the anger is the fact that you can't control human behaviour, granted, but we can control the borders and we can limit men from coming into the country illegally. Essentially, if somebody comes into the country illegally, they're a criminal from day one. So why are we letting criminals into the country? Why are we letting people in who are undocumented? We don't know the first thing about them. It's like opening your door, someone being at the door. You're not even saying hello. You're not even asking who they are, what they want. Just open the door and let them go in. And do you know what? If I went round somebody else's house for dinner one night and I snuck upstairs and the daughter, I'm sure that person would be a bit peeved with me. Yet, why do people feel like it's right to defend somebody that is doing that or willing to do that? Look, white or ethnic minority, it doesn't matter. Nobody should be creating crime, should be getting up to the stuff that they're getting up to. I think the big thing that people get so peeved off about, it's maybe not so much directed at immigrants as a whole. It's probably more frustration at the government. The fact that the country's in such dire straits, yet they haven't got a handle on the problem, and they are so readily and willingly funding it. Yes, they need somewhere to stay, but it doesn't need to be 4 and 5-star hotels. They don't need laptops. They don't need phones. They don't need things like that. Yeah, I can understand if they've got kids with them, they should be going to zoos and they should be going out and they should be seeing what the country's about. If we're going to properly integrate them into the country, then we need to show them the joys of England and that it's a good place to be, and not to kind of block your copybook. And you know what? If you come to England and you want to set up a new life here and you've got to rid of your previous life and away from danger, like they all say that they have, wouldn't you just keep your dick in your pants for 5 seconds? Wouldn't you not go out and rob people? Wouldn't you just kind of keep yourself to yourself, keep your head down and look after your future? If you've tried that hard to get to that point, you would just keep your head down and just be grateful that you've made it and that you're alive and that you're in one piece and you've got away from the danger that you're running away from. People's other frustrations are it's a massive amount of money to house these people in hotels, and they lay off all the hard-working staff in the hotel because they have to bring in their own personnel. But if we are doing this now on this scale, because we have to, why have we not been doing it for the homeless, for women fearing domestic violence, for veterans, for OAPs? All them hotels that are empty right now, right? Why haven't we got OAPs or people who are really struggling having a bit of a holiday in a hotel, having room service, having meals and breakfast buffets and things like that, and a swim in a pool and going to the gym? And why don't we give them laptops and why don't we give them phones and give them, do you know what? There's a weekend away on the taxpayer, because we've got a hotel stood there and it's empty and there's no one in it. We might as well put a few people in it and let them have a bit of a break. Or respite for parents that have disabled kids. Put the kids in some kind of childcare and let the parents have a weekend away break. But no, UK taxpayers are only there for the money generally. We generally don't get a lot back in return for our tax, do we? But when immigrants that are coming over and breaking into the country, we seem to be giving them all of our money. yet we get very little in return. And as a taxpayer, when you don't bleed the system dry, you're not on benefits, you very rarely use the NHS. My kids don't actually go to state school. I am not a drain on the system. I don't watch the news and I don't read newspapers. I haven't seen pictures of the boats. I don't know what colour skin they've got, what race they are, what ethnicity they are. And quite frankly, I couldn't care less. And you know what? The majority of the country couldn't care less. It's the things that they're pissed off about. It's not the people that they're pissed off about. It's the way they conduct themselves within the country. But I think more anger and more frustration is with the government in the way that they're just bending over backwards and doing all that they can for absolute complete strangers and criminals, first and foremost, have broken into the country, over UK citizens who have been struggling for a long time, who have paid the taxes, who, do you know what? If you've paid your taxes into the system for, I mean, talking about the changing of pension age at the moment, you've paid into the system your whole entire life, you don't get a break, you don't get nothing back in return, you get absolutely bugger all. Yet people come over here and they've been here 5 minutes and they get given more than anybody, any UK citizen is given in 5, 10, 20 years. It's absolutely absurdity. And do you know what? I keep saying this, but you don't take more passengers on if the ship is sinking, and our ship is well and truly sinking. There's no way that this country is anywhere near at the level that it should be. Given the economy and the amount of taxes that are generated, the level of service that you get in return for your taxes is absurd. And until we fix the country, until we get it straight and on a good pegging and people are actually living healthy, good lives, i.e. they're not working themselves to the bone and barely covering costs, then we can look at taking in people, then we can look at being more charitable. You're a charity when you're having abundance of stuff, not when you're lacking stuff. It makes absolutely zero sense. I'm not saying that we can't be generous and take people in, but you need to be looking after your own people first, and you need to be looking after the country first, particularly the people that are paying the taxes and voting you in. It's absolutely absurd.